Brother Jesse, B.J. Mayfield's statement of clarity and discernment. This Dream Discernment series is something I am approaching with humility, prayer, and a sincere desire to understand my own experiences through a biblically inspired and scripturally accurate lens. I recognize that dreams can come from many sources, including memories, emotions, imagination, spiritual influence, and the normal processing of daily life. I understand that not every dream is a message from God, and not every image carries a divine meaning. As it is written in 1 John chapter 4 verse 1, "Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of God." Because of this truth, I choose to view all interpretations in this series as possible insights rather than absolute conclusions. My purpose in sharing these dreams is to seek understanding, healing, and wisdom through scripture, reflection, and discernment. Introduction to the series entry. The first dream I have chosen to share is simple in description, yet powerful in symbolism. It reaches back to the earliest parts of my identity and life experience. In this dream I saw my born city of Chicago, Illinois and the state of Minnesota gradually and slowly interweaving themselves together. This image has stayed with me, and I believe it forms a meaningful starting point for this journey of discernment. In this entry I will reflect on what this dream may reveal about my emotions, my spiritual walk, and my personal history. Full discernment narrative. In this dream I witnessed two places that are deeply connected to my life becoming one. I saw Chicago, Illinois, the city of my birth, and Minnesota, another important part of my life story, slowly weaving into each other as though they were threads forming a single piece of fabric. The merging did not happen suddenly or forcefully, but in a gradual and peaceful way, almost as if it were a natural process unfolding before my eyes. As I reflect on this dream, I realize that familiar locations often represent familiar parts of myself. Chicago may symbolize my beginnings, my childhood, my roots, and the foundation of who I first knew myself to be. Minnesota may represent growth, change, movement, and later seasons of my life. Seeing them interweave could be my inner self trying to bring together different chapters of my journey into one unified understanding. The Bible speaks often about unity and things being brought together. In Psalm chapter 133 verse 1 it is written, "Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity." While this scripture speaks about people, I believe the principle can also apply to the heart and to a person's life story. My dream may have been showing me that the different pieces of my life do not have to remain separate, but can live together in harmony. I also sense that this dream could represent my own process of identity. Having connections to more than one place can sometimes leave a person feeling divided, as if part of them belongs here and part of them belongs there. The slow blending I saw in the dream might reflect my mind and spirit learning to accept that both Chicago, Illinois and Minnesota are parts of who I am. Instead of competing with each other, they are working together to shape me. Spiritually, I wonder if the dream points to God gently aligning different purposes and seasons in my life. Proverbs chapter 16 verse 9 says, "A man's heart deviseth his way, but the Lord directeth his steps." At times my life has felt like separate roads and experiences, yet this dream gives me the image that God is able to weave everything together into one clear path. Another possibility is that the dream represents reconciliation within myself. Sometimes the past and the present can feel disconnected, or even in conflict. The peaceful merging I witnessed may symbolize healing and acceptance, showing me that nothing I have lived through is wasted. Romans chapter 8 verse 28 tells me, "And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to His purpose." My dream seems to illustrate this scripture in a visual way, two separate places working together for one greater whole. Knowing that I have experienced dreams like this since I was around 7 years young, I realize that even as a child I may have been sensitive to change, movement, and belonging. Children often process big transitions in symbolic ways. This dream did not feel frightening or confusing, but calm and constructive, which suggests to me that it carried a message of comfort rather than concern. As I bring my reflection to a close, I feel that this first dream speaks more about identity, growth, and unification than about anything negative. It appears to show me that my life is not divided between Chicago, Illinois and Minnesota, but beautifully connected by both. The gradual nature of the merging reminds me of patience and God's timing, and how understanding unfolds little by little. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1 says, "To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven." I believe this dream was showing me that the seasons of my life are not separate fragments, but threads in one continuous story that God has been weaving together from the very beginning.